Well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The fairy tale is complete. The Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
Into the penalty area they go. Chance for Stamatolopoulos! And the Jets lead. Danger, confusion, and a second goal for Newcastle. Penalty that is. The Jets have takeoff in Wellington.
Big chance for Perth Glory. Taggart buries it. Zanuck. Oh, it's a brilliant goal.
That pass is dangerous here. Taggart, it's a gift. Adam Taggart draws Perth Glory level.
Newcastle Jets return to McDonald Jones Stadium on the back of that morale-boosting win in Wellington. And they will fancy their chances of recording back-to-back wins for the first time in almost a year as the travel-sick Perth Glory visit the Hunter this evening. The Jets are unbeaten in the last 8 meetings as well, but this is a ground where Glory have had a lot of success down the years, recording 12 victories. Aside of Suncorp Stadium, it is their favourite place to visit. None of those wins, however, have come in their last 7 trips. Their last win back in 2018. And of course, as has been well documented, their record on the road this season reads played 4, lost 4. And that, coupled with the home loss to Melbourne City last week and Western United's victory last night over Brisbane, leaves Glory at the bottom of the ladder at start of play. The Jets, for their part, are looking to move into the top 6 if they can secure that first home win of the season. Glory looking to climb away from the foot of the ladder and for their first away win in well over a year. It should be a fascinating night ahead. The Boffins rate the Jets as the slight favourites, but not by much. It's a warm day in the Hunter as well. It should cool as we head towards the evening. Here's the team news. The Jets unsurprisingly naming an unchanged 11 for the team that caused a boil over in Wellington. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos got a double in that win. He now has 6 goals in 6 games at the start of his second spell with the club. Clayton Taylor is providing able support. He's got 3 goals and was involved in all 3 goals against the Phoenix. Thomas Aquilina continues in his more advanced role. Dane Ingham and skipper Brandon O'Neill up against their former club. Costa Grozos, his little milestone today. It's his 50th appearance for the Newcastle Jets. He scored an absolute bomb in the 2-2 draw against Glory back in round 1 and then assisted the 92nd minute equaliser scored by Stamatolopoulos. Just the one change for Glory. Alexander Sushnyar is fit again after missing the home match with Melbourne City. He replaces Trent Osler at left back. Johnny Katrumbis and Adam Taggart both facing their former club. Oliver Zanuck, of course, played in many F3 derbies here for the Mariners against the Jets. Amini Williams and Carluccio providing the experience off the bench. Bruce Kamau and Aaron McAneff not involved in the matchday squad. Adam Taggart scored in the 2nd minute of that round 1 draw against the Jets, the club with whom he won the Golden Boot, of course, scoring 16 goals almost a decade ago. And he's in good form at the moment, 4 goals this season, including 1 in each of his last 2. Robbie Stanton has fond memories of Perth Glory. He was part of the Wollongong Wolves team that won the grand final at Subiaco against the odds 23 years ago to lift the old National Soccer League Championship. And Alan Stajic has fond memories of Newcastle. He secured his first win as an A-League coach here when he led the Mariners to F3 derby success in March 2019 on his first game in charge of the Gosford club. Referee tonight is Sean Evans, making his first trip here since the F3 derby in round 25 last season. It's game number 161 for the Melbourne official. Salim Khalifi looking to add to his 2 A-League goals, both of which were scored against the Mariners late last season, now fully recovered from a foot problem that has kept him on the sidelines for much of the interim. Cameron Cook retaining his spot in goal for Glory for the 6th consecutive game. He was in fine form their last away trip to Sydney FC, kept the scoreline down that night. He might be a busy man again this afternoon. So it's the team that hasn't won at home this season against the team who's lost all 4 on the road. Something has to give tonight. Well, should give anyway, Grace Gill.
Well, good afternoon, Simon, and you'd think so. I'm really looking forward to this one, actually. Newcastle, they looked in great form last weekend against Wellington, and as you mentioned, a big ask on the road for Perth, who have struggled outside of the West.
And it's very warm early evening in Newcastle, so the pace might be a little bit slow early on. Pitch looks to have now fully recovered from motocross events that forced the switch of the F3 Derby. In the shade on the near side, Lucas Maragis back to Mark Natter. And now Philip Kankar. And we saw those odds, Grace, suggesting that Newcastle are the slight favourites, with all the numbers having been crunched. And that's probably fair enough, given the stats that we've been mentioning in the build-up. But their home form, similar to Perth on the road, is something they need to get right if they're going to make the top 6.
Yeah, on the balance of the season, coming into this one does feel as though the Jets just have the edge. They're not having great success here in Newcastle. Perth really looking to turn their fortunes around and get back to winning ways.
2 home games for the Jets have produced that defeat by Melbourne City and a draw against the Wanderers when they were 2-0 up and probably thought they should have won that game. So they'll be anxious to get off the mark today. And they're enjoying a fair bit of early possession. A lot of it inside their own half. Mark Natter looking to start the build-up again. Kankar. Daningham. Rozos with the ball back for Kankar. Now looking to establish himself after his brief period in Scotland with Livingston. Maragis. Brandon O'Neill up against the club. He had 2 spells. Jets feeling there might have been a foul on Aquilina, but saw the wagging finger of Alexander Sushniar, saying he made no contact. And at the end of all that, Perth Glory have a throw. Their last win on the road against the Mariners back in October 2022. There's that finger being wagged by Sushniar. It's a real up and under off Adam Taggart. He's done well to win the ball back from that prone position. Ollie Bozanic. Whistle has gone. Salem Khalifi doing his best to try and keep the ball in play.
Well, it started slowly. Tempo really measured and dictated at the moment by Newcastle, and Perth shape happy to sit back in that 4-4-2 block, just waiting to pick their moment to apply the pressure. But early doors, it's all Newcastle with their foot on the ball.
Natter. Rozos going the central route, but easily repelled by the Glory. Natter earning a throw off Stefan Kolakowski. He got his first goal for the Glory, and that's a round 1 draw between the 2 clubs. After coming off the bench, there he is, former Melbourne City striker. It's a late comeback that day by the Newcastle Jets, which gave Robbie Stanton his first point in charge of the club. Daningham looking to float it out to Clayton Taylor, but he's overhit that one by quite some distance. Current Jets Player of the Year, won the Nigel Bogard medal last season. that pass, not one for the highlights reel. Long throw by Katrumbis, net by Natta. Turned with interest by Katrumbis, and Perth will have a throw. Newcastle faithful doing their best to lift the noise levels inside McDonald Jones Stadium. Adam Taggart with a bit to say to Sean Evans after the award of that free kick. Still chuntering away. The form of the two strikers, Graham Arnold, of course, looking to secure his places for the Asian Cup. Injury to Matt Leckie may well rule him out. Might he be looking at Taggart, Stamatolopoulos perhaps? Who knows?
I think fair to say both players are doing themselves a pretty good case of garnering the attention. Asking the question at very least, they're not alone across the league.
Lucas Moragas has stolen a march on Katrumbis, and that deflection off Latchman could have been awkward for Cameron Cook, but good soft hands by the Glory custodian. Moragas does love to get forward down that left-hand side, and they've found some room for him.
Yeah, it's really good shape on the delivery from Moragas. A little deflection off the foot of Latchman, could have gone anywhere. Cameron Cook has been so assured this season, had to be.
Piscopo just couldn't quite dig the ball out in time to get the shot away, but the Jets will have a corner. Robbie Stanton's team starting to warm to their task. Come on, Newcastle, rings out around McDonald Jones. Grozos with the corner. Taylor coming short. Oh, there's a slip by Costa Grozos, which was really unfortunate. Maybe some of the turf still a little bit loose in places. Went down as though he'd been hit by the sniper there.
Disappointing one there for Grozos. He would have liked to do a bit more with what seemed to be a training ground move off that corner.
Taylor, no foul. They're looking for Moragas, but too much on that one for the fullback, but promise for the Jets.
Yeah, after the first couple of minutes of just knocking the ball around the back of the field, they're just starting to probe a little further forward and ask a few questions, and this is a concerning sign early on.
Isn't it just? Apostolos Stamatolopoulos just feeling that left knee. Sat down for a moment or two. Hopefully it was just a contact injury, nothing more. Yeah, knee on knee, I think, with Sushniar. Mind you, that's an Aquilina.
That would be a big out for Newcastle. It's been excellent, 6 in 6. Everything he's touching at the moment is finding its way into the back of the net.
No doubt there'll be some urgent conversations going on between bench and the Jets' top scorer. Are you okay? Everything all right? Meantime, Sushniar with the throw for Glory. Knocked away by O'Neill. Cushion header by Colley, didn't find a teammate. And Bozanic has turned into trouble in the shape of Clayton Taylor, but now has it back. Passing lane wasn't really open. Aquilina lost his footing as well. It's a good touch by Grozos. Dane Ingham gets the head up, looks for Clayton Taylor, earns his team a corner.
A couple of slips early on. This players slightly losing their footing on the field. Jets definitely looking better going forward in those moments. Still a fairly measured and slow tempo start. As you can see, Grozos just trying to replace some of the turf in the ground. So
the Jets' second corner. Now just starting to build a little bit of pressure. Again, they go low. This time, Clayton Taylor got the ball stuck between his feet. Partly away by Taggart, picked up by Piscopo, clip it to the back post where Kankar was stationed. Thumped forward in the direction of Kolakowski, but headed off at the pass by Aquilina. Good release too. And the Jets just started to motor a little bit. Those possession stats telling their own story. Piscopo reaching for the ball and bringing it under his control. Did the ball go out? Now the flag goes up. Sean Evans just waiting for confirmation. Rich Julie arrived.
You can understand though why Newcastle are looking for that short corner. The likes of Darryl Latchman, Beavers in the middle of the field for Perth. Such towering targets. And that physical aerial presence, a tough one to contend with.
Jets having a lot of the ball. O'Neill. Worked wide by Piscopo. In comes the cross. Maragis attacking it. And the whistle goes in favour of Perth. Rafael Johnny Katrumbis.
Just a little casual there from Perth. Piscopo was able to check off his line, receive the ball, turn and face with absolutely no pressure. And create an option forward once more for Newcastle. Perth just standing off.
Not sure there was an awful lot wrong in what Lucas Maragis did. Spins off the head of Lucas Maragis for a throw. Katrumbis spent 5 years, of course, with the Jets, appearing in the grand final in 2018. England was looking for options. Swept upfield by Beavers for Perth. And out of Philip Kankar. Colley. Bozanic. Well to work through that little group of Jets defenders. Khalifi trying to hit the byline. And it rebounded back off the Tunisian. Goal kick. Glory have got a bit of pace and a bit of trickery on the flanks if they can work the ball forward to the likes of Kolakowski and Khalifi. Meantime, Clayton Taylor using the flank to good effect here on the left. Cut out by Sushniar. And Ivanovic. Good use of the body to fend off Clayton Taylor. And Latchman threads it through for Colley. It's a useful ball by Giordano Colley, and Ryan Scott had to come out and play sweeper keeper, and he did so to good effect. Still there though for Perth and Kolakowski. Bozanic. Sushniar. Nice turn by the fullback, who's more naturally a central defender. Has been playing at left back for most of the season for Glory. Trent Osler deputising for him last week against Melbourne City. Latchman. Another aimless ball by the big central defender.
With the exception of that pass, it feels as though Perth are just starting to build a little more here.
Kankar, mindful of Kolakowski's presence, takes no chances. Ryan Scott was excellent against Wellington last week, as the Jets repelled raid after raid from the Phoenix in that second half. Sushnjar just overdone that slightly. It's the thumbs up from Luka Ivanovic. Quarter of an hour played. Piscopo not able to get around Latchman. Kankar will pick up the loose ball. Ingham. The Jets fans wanted Dane Ingham to push on there. There was a bit of space. And allowed the Glory defence to retreat. Just a little bit indecisive there.
Yeah, this opening 15 minutes has a certain tired feel about it, but just get the sense that both teams are trying to settle into the match, feel each other out. The last couple of minutes, they've spent a few valuable touches in their own attacking half, but it's back in the hands of Newcastle, just dictating the tempo.
Natta to lift it over the top for Maragis. Behind him is Taylor. They forged a good combination down that left-hand side. And Piscopo, a little bit of trickery, and fires one into the side netting. Good effort.
Don't mind that at all from Piscopo. Again, just drops off, finds himself in a good amount of space, creates even more for himself with a step away from his defender. The near post, it almost felt as though Cameron Cook anticipating the far post shot. It's clever, and at his best, Piscopo is a fine player.
And his injury concerns, of course, tore his calf in pre-season. He's only ever scored once for the Jets. That's going to be a foul by Ingham. And that was an absolute bullet against Perth Glory last season. Let's go down on this warm early evening to the sideline, where we find the very cool Tristan McManus.
I don't know if cool is the word today, Simon. It's bleeding roasting here. Yeah, decent start though. I mean, look at you'd imagine Perth would be down on confidence coming here with 4 losses on the bounce. Johnny Katrumas is copping a bit from Sledge here on the side. He's just given a bit too much space to Maragis here on the side, but a lot of positive reinforcement at the back. I really love both of these coaches. Granted, we haven't got the goals in the first game just yet, but certainly Jets, it's the only game where they've dominated possession. So I know stats don't tell it, but here, it's getting a bit rough now. I'll leave it to you.
Thanks, Tristan. Going to see our first yellow card. It's going to be issued to Lucas Maragis for blocking off that run forward of Johnny Katrumbis, who has probably just got a little well done in his ear now from Alan Stadgy.
Yeah, perhaps just a little energy and impetus is what the game needs. It has been a lethargic start. Just see the late check there from Maragis, cleaning up Katrumbis as he came through.
It's his third caution of the campaign. Lucas Maragis, 2 more, and he will serve a 1-game suspension. Chance here for Glory to throw plays forward. Sean Evans is not happy though. Quite ready to go. Settling things down in that little melee. Costa Grozos can see the funny side of it. Bozanic and Colley, 2 free kick specialists. A little bit too far out to have a dig at goal. Bozanic is going to try and float it. And Ryan Scott doesn't get it completely away, and it's fired into the side netting by Luka Ivanovic, who is still looking for that maiden goal for Perth Glory.
It almost looked like a moment of indecision there from Ryan Scott. He came off his line well, looked as though to claim, and at the last moment went for a punch. And not overly convincing with the contact.
I think whistle went eventually for a foul on the goalkeeper, which it normally does in those situations. Forward by Latchman. Khalifi. Sushnia. Well, he went early, and I tell you what, it was a great release to find Kolakovsky, but an awkward one to control. He made his mind up immediately, Alexander Sushnia, that was where he was going. Katrumbis. All the stats tell the story of the early dominance of the Newcastle Jets, but just a couple of opportunities really created. It's a deflection off Daryl Latchman, which could have caused a problem for Cameron Cook. And then Reno Tiscopo with that shot into the side netting.
Tristan's point on possession, it doesn't always tell the story, and it certainly was the case last week for Newcastle, dispatching Wellington 3-0 with 37% possession. They got the lion's share of the ball this afternoon.
And crucially, they only had 4 shots on target against the Knicks, and they scored from 3 of them. Jets fans asking for a yellow card for their former favourite, Adam Taggart. Kankar. Natta inching forward, pinging it out towards Stone Ingham. His first touch was really good off the chest. Cross straight at Ivanovic. Reset through Maragis. Grozos. Driving through midfield, Costa Grozos, and he can hit them, we know that. So did Perth after round 1. Little drop of the shoulder by Maragis. Everybody back behind the ball, bar Taggart for Perth. Grozos. Natta. Maragis. O'Neill. And they've worked that little bit of space out on the right-hand side for Daningham. In by Aquilina, but easily out again by the Glory defence. Start again through Maragis. Tiscopo. Stamatolopoulos. Ball hit the referee. My bad, says Sean Evans.
Well, it's patient play from Newcastle. You can feel just that intensity of ball speed pick up as they move further up the field, rather. Just trying to find those spaces between the lines.
Kankar. Aquilina does well to keep that one alive, because he's picking that one against the backdrop of the sun at far side of the pitch. Maragis. O'Neill. He made the point a couple of weeks back. This is a very young Newcastle Jets side. The average age of their starting 11 this season is the youngest in the competition. Beavers puts it out. Quickly taken throw for the Jets. Tiscopo. Just a slightly heavy touch and a penalty. Aquilina, as he reached for the ball, as did Beavers, and the Englishman made the connection with Thomas Aquilina, and Sean Evans has no hesitation in pointing to the spot.
Sean Evans, he had a look at it, he thought about it for just half a second, and there's the decision. Whistle to the mouth and pointing to the spot, no hesitation whatsoever. And after building and probing and pressing, this Perth Glory defence It's a huge moment.
Well, VAR, of course, will check it just to make sure that was the correct decision. Kate Jacobitz in the booth today. I'm told the check is complete. And that decision is upheld. So a big chance for the Jets to take the lead. That on the balance of play, they probably deserve. All up to their leading scorer, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, who scored from the spot against Wellington Phoenix. And fires it into the back of the net against the Glory. Make that 7 goals in 7 games for the man with the longest surname in the competition. And his reputation is starting to grow as well. 1-0 Jets.
Well, fair to say it's been one-way traffic, all Newcastle Jets. Here's another look at the penalty shout on the Harvey Norman replay. There wasn't a huge amount in the challenge, but the in-form man, the in-form moment. Stamatolopoulos dispatches expertly. It's a measured celebration, as it has been a measured opening stanza for the Newcastle Jets, but they've taken the lead.
Well, Cameron Cook guessed the right way, but it had too much power. Those stats are pretty good, aren't they? 7 goals in 7 games. By the way, that's also his 10th goal in 19 matches for the Jets across the 2 spells that he has spent with the club. To Sean Evans' credit, Grace, he was absolutely in the right position to make that decision.
He was, had the best view out of everyone there. Beavers will be disappointed. There's a look at the top goal scorers, and isn't that race getting close?
Watch out, Bruno Fornaroli. And he's got a 4-goal buffer at the moment. Inspired move it's proved to be by Robbie Stanton to bring him back home from Greece, where he was last season. For incident, he didn't score a goal all season for Yanina, his club side there. Ball breaks for Sushniar. Thought about the shot. Bozanic, Polly. It is the 6th time this season Perth have conceded the opening goal, and they've lost all of the previous 5. So can they buck that trend?
No doubt there's a couple of trends they'd like to buck this afternoon against Newcastle outside of the west of Australia. An important 3 points too.
Sushniar quite able to link up with Khalifi. Aquilinis has chased that to Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, but Beavers too big, too strong. Natta. That touch from Piscopo took it away from his teammate. Petrumbis. Against Aquilina was always going to be a no contest in the air.
It's quite a contrast when you look at the centre-half pairing from each side. The youth of Newcastle, Mark Natta, Philip Kankar as well.
That's a handy release by O'Neill. Ingham not quite able to get enough on the cross. Ivanovic. It's a decent rugby tackle, but not in this code.
Ivanovic on that occasion, just trying to do a little bit too much. take things into his own hands, and Perth looking for an outlet at the moment, not finding it. Just a touch away from him, just let him down.
Sent long by Natta. Katrumbis underneath it. O'Neill leaning over the top. Bozanic, who stays down. Grozos. Aquilina going to have a dig here. Decent effort. And it was for Ollie Bozanic. Just feeling the after effects of challenge from Brandon O'Neill.
Cook didn't look too concerned by the strike, but it wasn't as far off perhaps as what he thought.
The other problem now, Grace, side of the scoreboard, is the psychological effect of falling behind again on the road for Perth. They've been in this situation so many times. And losing, just like winning, becomes a real habit.
Yeah, it does. And even in the way that they've approached this game, we mentioned the lethargic start. Obviously very happy to sit back in and perhaps looking to hit Newcastle on the counter, but we haven't seen too many signs of that.
Maragis. Matchman reading that. Collie, Katrumbis. Almost gave Reno Piscopo a nibble there. Katrumbis. Sushnia. Khalifi. Latchman. Everything now compressed into Newcastle's half of the field. Did that ball go out? It did. And it just seemed as soon as Newcastle got enough men behind the ball, Glory sort of ran out of ideas.
Yeah, all came a little bit stagnant there, and that's a disappointing pass to really hand possession back to Newcastle. Midfielders for Perth just needing to get a little more involved, look for the ball, get the creative players on the ball, looking forward. At the moment, it's very much in the hands of Newcastle dictating terms on this one.
It's good foraging as well by Aquilina. Piscopo, beautiful no-look pass. They're in here, Stamatolopoulos. Goodness me. That's an unbelievable clearance on the goal line by Johnny Katrumbis. I think he almost backheeled it over the crossbar. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, spectacular, really. A goal line save. For all money, that was finding its way into the back of the net. It was a lovely no-look pass from Piscopo. Taylor unselfishly leaves it. And somehow, Katrumbis, the recovery run is excellent, and it is almost a no-look backheel to keep that out of the back of the net.
Well, credit to the improvisation. It prevented a certain goal. Still the corner to defend. Grozos with the delivery. Pushed away by Cook. Brought down by O'Neill. Now Maragis. O'Neill again. Crossing with the left boot. Natta helps it on, but there's nobody at the back post for the Jets. Oh, and almost getting into a spot of honour there, Dane Ingham. Didn't realise Adam Taggart was arriving on the blind side. Now he wants a foul, believing that Khalifi had obstructed him.
Sean Evans not having any of that. But another couple of promising moments for Newcastle moving forward. just continuing to press.
Darryl Latchman. Slightest of touches off Katrumbis. Needed a little bit more than a feather. It's a Jets throw. Touch by Stamatolopoulos. Really in the groove at the moment. Aquilina gets the head up, looks for that near post option with Clayton Taylor. At the moment, Grace, you'd say the Jets are good value for that 1-0 lead.
Yeah, very much so. And I love that early ball across the face of the defence. Such a tricky one for Perth to defend against, facing your own goal. Just puts indecision into the mind of the defenders and Cameron Cook as well, whether to stay or go.
Katrumbis. Lay off by Taggart, slightly behind Kolakowski. They managed to readjust. Now Bozanic. Collie got away from Kolakowski. He's got a second bite at it though. And Katrumbis never really looked convincing. Scored a goal during his days for the Wanderers against Wellington, December 2021. So a couple of years ago. That is the Glory's first shot on goal. Luke Ivanovic did have one earlier on in the game, but that one was robbed off for a foul on Ryan Scott. Here's Moragas. Newcastle have 3 in the box to aim for. Paulina almost seemed to duck underneath that one.
There's a good move forward once more from Newcastle. The release pass in the middle of the field from Brandon O'Neill really opened things up for the Jets. Delivery though from Moragas, not quite the trajectory it needed to be. Paulina just in 2 minds.
Grozos. First of 2 games today in the Isuzu Ute men's competition. We got the Big Blue to come later, of course. Melbourne victory against Sydney FC. That'll be a cracker at Amy Park. Same venue for tomorrow's game between Melbourne City and the Mariners. And then a Monday game between Macarthur and Wellington, due to MacArthur's AFC Cup travels. Here's a chance, Stefan Kolakowski. Great challenge, Philip Kankar. Still alive for Adam Taggart. Now the Jets defended desperately, but defended well.
Much better from Perth Glory. There's a first-time pass in there from Luke Ivanovic, which really opened things up. Asked a lot of questions of Newcastle's defence. This touch here, first time round the corner, just to find the run of Kolakowski, and it's a brilliantly timed challenge. Excellent there.
And little room for error as well. Philip Kankar, he mistimes that, it's a penalty for sure. Really good defender's challenge. Clayton Taylor is trying to steal in behind Katrumbis, and he's done so. There's no foul. Clayton Taylor for the Jets. And it's still there for them, Renaud Piscopo. And he lost his standing foot, I fancy, just at the moment of contact with the ball with the left.
He's not the only one to lose his footing this afternoon, on a few occasions now. Players from both teams just slipping underneath foot. This one again, Piscopo is so handy on the ball, doesn't get the purchase on the strike that he would have liked, but yet again, constructed by Clayton Taylor, who he's been excellent for Newcastle this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, another good acquisition made by the club during the off-season from the Sydney FC junior. Kowski dropping deeper to almost play the role of playmaker. Chested down by Ingham. Again, very calmly defended by the Jets. And now look to launch upfield, Moragas. Good challenge by Ivanovic. It's going to be a Jets throw, though. Oh, not too friendly. Stajic appealing for handball. Interesting. Kowski works it wide. Colling with the goalkeepers.
Hands up in the air in disappointment there. Gio Collie, he knew quality had to be better on that delivery. Perth just streaming numbers back behind the ball, trying to plug the gaps. Newcastle, to their credit, they've been patient in pulling apart this glory defensive shape.
Well, first half against Wellington Phoenix, Newcastle Jets were really good. And it's been the same story on their own patch today. Wellington certainly came back into it in the second stanza last week, so they would no doubt like a second goal, Robbie Stanton's team, to go into the break with. Physical contact between Stamatolopoulos and Latchman. Jets get the verdict. Beavers wanted Cameron Cook to come and claim, which ultimately he did. Katrumbis. He's got Ivanovic bombing on beyond. Ivanovic just again seemed to lose his footing slightly. It's when players are running at full tilt. Maybe the grip in the turf isn't quite there, Grace.
It certainly looks that way. A few players go to ground already. A passage of play that opened up pretty nicely for Perth, but again, just lacking that final bit of quality. Ivanovic's touch getting away from him, and plenty of Newcastle shirts behind to in the defensive duties.
Moragas again on his bike moving forwards. O'Neill will find him. Square of him is Piscopo. No way through for Aquilina. O'Neill. Taylor. And the Jets content to play a bit of keep ball with half-time approaching. Grozos. Piscopo and Stamatolopoulos having a reach for the ball. No foul on Khalifi. O'Neill. Natter. Time to assess the options. O'Neill. Building nicely. The Newcastle Jets. Grozos works it wide. Ingham with time. And Cook gets a touch, and Katrumbis makes sure. Another Jets corner.
Katrumbis has had to make sure on a couple of occasions this afternoon already. Nice delivery from Ingham to the back post, and Taylor, well, was lurking. Should have that fallen to him.
The last minute of the opening 45, there will actually a bit to be added on. Natter looking to make his move. Ivanovic keeping a beady eye on him. Grozos with the delivery. Beavers was fouled. Stamatolopoulos. They like quite the duel in the first half, those two.
It's been a good coming together. And there's that delivery where we knew the likes of Beavers and Latchman, well, they were going to be hard to beat. Proven to be exactly the case.
So just one added minute to the end of the opening 45, and it's going to be a throw for Perth. Time for one opportunity if they can fashion something here. Alan Stagic's too. Trombis with the throw. Kolakovsky, Collie, Bozanic. Quickly closed down by O'Neill. To be quick, Perth. And in the end, they just didn't show enough urgency, which is perhaps half their story in the first half. For the Jets, it's another good 45 minutes put together, the highlight of which was the penalty awarded after the foul by Mark Beavers on Thomas Aquilina, expertly tucked away by Apostolos Stamatolopoulos for his 7th goal in 7 matches. Luka Ivanovic has worked hard, but Perth again have found opportunities difficult to create. And at the break, on the road, they trail once again. It's Newcastle Jets 1, Perth Glory 0. We're off to a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll wrap up all the first half highlights with myself, Grace Gill, and of course, Tristan McManus. See you soon.
Oh, sorry, man. Hungry Jack's halftime show. Am I talking over the play on? Hello and welcome back to McDonald Jones Stadium, where Newcastle Jets lead Perth Glory by 1-0. The optimism is high here for these home fans, and so it should be. They've almost dominated the first half. Welcome back and welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. As I said, it was Apostolos Stamatolopoulos' goal who separates these two teams. But again, as we've seen from the previous fixture between these two teams, if you don't put them to bed, they will eat your ice cream. A 92nd minute equaliser from the same man made it a 2-2 draw the last time. It could have been 2-0. Only for Johnny Katrumbis on the goal line. How he managed to get the ball over. Rene Higuita would be proud of that block. But it really has been all Newcastle Jets so far in this first half. It's been a great game. And taking you through the Harvey Norman highlights for the first half is Simon Hill and Grace Gill.
I'll have a flake with my ice cream. Thanks very much, Tristan. Let's have a look at the first half highlights. Well, this was the big moment, Grace Gill. Both players, Beavers and Aquilina, reaching for the ball, and Beavers making contact with the Jets player. Penalty.
Yeah, the more you look at it, the more it does look like a penalty on first glance. I wasn't entirely sure, but as we mentioned, Sean Evans definitely had the best view in the house, and, well, the man of the moment, 7 in 7 now, and how impressively that one was taken as well.
Yeah, beat Cameron Cook for pure power into the corner. His 7th goal in 7 games this season. He is having quite the campaign.
Well, he is, and he's putting himself well and truly on the radar, confidently stepping up, dispatching that one, no concerns, and really grew into the first half, I thought, as well.
And he had that chance that was cleared off the line as well. Here are the first half stats. It's been all Newcastle, really. 62% possession, 6 attempts to 2. Perth yet to register a shot on target. They really have to change that in the second half if they are to climb away from the foot of the ladder tonight. Grace, let's have a look at some of the other chances created by the Jets. They had a little bit more energy and a bit more about them in that first 45.
Yeah, they did, well and truly dictating the tempo of this game. The Jets, all chances come in one-way traffic in Newcastle's favour. This was early on, could have been a different story. Cameron Cook alert to the danger. Lucas Moragas has worked pretty tirelessly all afternoon up and down that left-hand wing for Newcastle. But it wasn't without their chances, just that final bit of quality. Most certainly, though, you've got to say, all in the Jets' favour.
That was a lovely little no-look pass and that was a great clearance, by the way, by Johnny Katrumbis. Lovely no-look pass by Piscopo, and Stamatolopoulos denied by some goal line acrobatics from Johnny Katrumbis. Another chance for the Jets. Clayton Taylor foraging for possession down that left-hand side. Perth wanted a foul, but play on was the decision, and in the end Piscopo had the effort, Grace. But again, we've seen this a fair bit in the first half. Maybe the turf a little bit loose in places, just losing his footing.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of a greasy surface. Some of the players just losing their footing underneath. A bit of spray of water as well, just to make it slicker than it needs to be, perhaps.
So as the players go through half-time instructions from the coaches, we'll take a check on the Paramount Plus player index. Brandon O'Neill, well, he's sort of the fulcrum, really, isn't he, of the Newcastle Jets side. Keeps the ball moving and keeps the team ticking over. Philip Kankar made one excellent challenge to deny Perth Glory, and Stefan Kolakowski in particular. And Mark Natter and Costa Grozos have been busy as well. And the fact that the top 4 are all Newcastle players pretty much tells you the story of the first half at McDonald Jones Stadium. So what's going to happen in this second half, Grace Gill? Look at the Perth Glory substitutes bench. This is the Jets dressing room. They're doing okay for the time being. I'm sure it'll be a case of asking for more of the same for Robbie Stanton. But in terms of Alan Stajic, he's got the likes of Musti Amini, David Williams, Jared Carluccio, Trent Osler, Daniel Benny on the bench. Does he go for early changes? Because they've looked a little bit listless again, Glory.
Yeah, they have. And ultimately, Perth need a response to this first 45 minutes, whether that's changes, substitutes, formation. There needs to be more attacking intent, and just a change from that first 45, which was, I'm sure, they'd assess as disappointing in their own eyes.
Well, this, of course, the appetizer for the big Christmas feast to come later on tonight. Santa making his way around the apron of the pitch in McDonald Jones. It's the Big Blue this evening between Melbourne Victory and Sydney FC. And Tara Rushton and Archie Thompson are at Amy Park for us. Guys, over to you.
Thanks so much, team. We are gearing up for another huge edition of the Big Blue, and I'm joined, of course, by the Mayor of Melbourne, the Mayor of everywhere, Archie Thompson. Home city, home ground, Arch, and another cracking encounter we are gearing up for. Really looking forward to it, but what do you think we can expect? Melbourne Victory could go top of the table with a win tonight.
Yeah, well, look, going into this season, after the back end of last season, or pretty much all of last season, where, you know, they looked like they would huff and puff, but then nothing would get blown down. So for them, they've started on like a house on fire. They haven't lost a match along with the Bulls. A great opportunity to go top.
Who's going to stop brilliant Bruno Fornaroli? And then is he going to get a phone call at the end of this weekend and Graham Arnold goes, "What up, Bruno? Do you want to come and join me in Qatar?"
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the million-dollar question, because
Yeah.
no one has seemed to have done that yet. We had Western Sydney last week, probably one of the toughest defences in the A-League, and he scores 4 goals. So I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, and he's fantastic here at home, especially with a full stadium. I don't know how they're going to stop it. And I'd love to see him go to the Asia Cup.
I know we're all big fans of Bruno, aren't we? From a Sydney FC perspective, they're getting some players back, with Rodwell coming back into defence. Of course, Andrew Redmayne is out suspended, but hopefully things can start to click in the gear. The away team tends to do well when they travel away in a Big Blue.
Yeah, well, look, Sydney have got nothing to lose. They don't come in here with form, but you never know with Big Blue.
Sydney or Melbourne, what's the better city?
Oh, obviously Melbourne.
Oh, silly question. Enjoy, team.
Thanks very much, guys. That's our big game tonight on Paramount Plus and 10 Bold. Melbourne Victory against Sydney FC, the Big Blue, and the culmination of this game between the Newcastle Jets and Perth Glory, with the Jets leading 1-0 at the break. That was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. The second half is coming up, and we'll take you to our final break before the second half with this classic moment between the two teams, back from the 1920 season when a certain Nikolai Topor-Stanley scored an absolute bomb. See you soon.
Ugarkovic blocked by Grant. Topor-Stanley! Oh! It is a collector's item! The best goal in Topor-Stanley's A-League career from 30 metres away. The goalkeeper's coming to celebrate. You know it's good when that happens.
Welcome back for the second half at McDonald Jones Stadium, where Perth Glory are making a change at the break. Mustafa Amini is replacing Ollie Pizanic, who did pick up a knock in that first half. Maybe that's the reason. Jets leading 1-0 at the break. If it stays this way in terms of the results, then they will move into the top 6 tonight above Adelaide and Melbourne City. Perth Glory would remain adrift at the foot of the ladder. A little statistical anomaly that Grace Gill pointed out to me. Jets haven't lost any of the last 15 matches when 1-0 up at the break. You have to go back to December 2021 to find the last time it happened. 2-1 loss to MacArthur. So all the portents, Grace, are for a Jets win. Let's see if Perth can turn it around. You think they can?
Well, no doubt a huge 45 minutes coming up for Alan Stagic's side. And needing a response, really. Needing some urgency. Needing to bring back control into this game, which was very much in Newcastle's favour for the first 45 minutes.
Now, Tristan McManus is sidelined for us. He's with Damir Prodanovic, the Jets assistant coach. Tristan.
Damir, strong first half. You're dominating possession, dominating attempts, but just shaping the scoreline. Do we need to be a bit more clinical in the second half, maybe?
Definitely. I think we had momentum in that half. We created good moments. We need to be a little bit more composed in the final third, and it just comes down to good decisions in the final third, but more or less the same.
Do you expect any change at half-time?
Not to start with, but we've got some exciting young players, so looking forward to it.
Best of luck for the second half. Thank you.
Well, you've got to change now, because Adam Taggart has equalised against his former club. An absolutely brilliant finish inside the penalty area. Glory streaked away down the right-hand side, and Adam Taggart fairly thumped it into the roof of the net as he continues his late play for Asian Cup inclusion in January with his 5th of the season, and it's 1-1.
Well, we were talking about the need for a response on the Harvey Norman replay. It was a good driving run, great strength shown. Taggart did really well to lose his mark, just hold his run. Natta had eyes on the ball. It's an incisive finish. Thunders into the back of the net. You can see that one's important to Taggart. That one's important to Glory. It's a good response.
It is a terrific start to the second half for Perth Glory, and one they really needed. Credit to Luke Ivanovic for the burst down the right, and there could be in again here, but Kolakowski headed off by Kankar. Khalifi with second phase possession. It's a different Perth Glory all of a sudden. Confirmation of that change. Mustafa Amini on in place of Ollie Pizanic. And maybe Alan Stajic read the riot act a bit at half-time. Ivanovic works it wide. In comes the cross, and Kolakowski waiting to pounce. Collie goes out wide for Sushnyar. Now they'll have to turn back out towards Beavers. No foul by Sushnyar. To say, it didn't look as though there's a bit of contact. On we go, Amini. Khalifi. Well, ambitious, but shows that Perth Glory have come out with much more attacking intent.
It's definitely injected a little bit of life into this Perth Glory side. Even that vertical pass we saw moments ago from Amini, looking for that ball as opposed to the one out wide. We saw much of the first 45 minutes, Glory just picking the outside edge.
Amini rolls it into the path of John Katrumbis. Overhit by the fullback, and the Jets don't quite know what's hit them at the outset of this second period.
I have to say, even the celebration from Adam Taggart, kind of frustrated figure, an important finish, an important equaliser, but didn't celebrate overly so. Just got about business, went back to the centre circle.
I'll tell you what, he's got a heck of a record against Newcastle Jets. That's his 8th goal in 12 games against them now. Ivanovic has turned into a cul-de-sac meantime. Taylor looking to drive through the heart of the Glory defence and attracts the contact from Sushnjar. Free kick.
Well, from what was a good run moments earlier from Ivanovic, you can't do that in the middle of the field, just taking too many touches in around traffic. Is dispossessed, and Clayton Taylor, who is good in busy areas, invites the contact, and this is a dangerous area for Newcastle.
Pretty rudimentary challenge, it must be said, by Alexander Sushnjar. Maybe fortunate to escape a yellow card for that.
Well, Sushnjar, who I think has been really solid this afternoon, that one's a bit clumsy.
Costa Grozos, you might remember, scored an absolute howitzer against Perth. Round one, and he can hit a decent free kick. Let's see what he does here. Took a flick off the wall. Corner.
Yeah, tricky one that, to get a delivery up and over a wall, especially when that wall has 6'2" across the highest point.
Actually 6'4" if you're talking about Mark Beavers. He's a big unit. Still the corner to come. Grozos low towards the near post, and Natta trying to do a Riley McGree scorpion kick. Same sort of real estate as well as that famous effort 5 years ago. Not quite the same execution.
A little unorthodox there from Mark Natta. Such an unassuming player for Newcastle. So composed at the back and makes himself known in those set pieces too.
He's got an Olympics to aim for, of course, in Paris 2024. Late call-up for the Olyroos for their friendlies against Qatar and Saudi Arabia. There's an injury rep for Alexander Popovic. Then there's heavy contact from Sushnjar, this time on Aquilina. He's back on the ball now. That's clever. It's going to be a Jets corner.
Yeah, nice build-up play yet again from Newcastle. There's that level of creativity and just innovation. One touch, two touch passes to break things down.
Collie with the last touch. Sorry, Grace. Perth yet to register in the corner count. Jets up to 6. Grozos. Stamatolopoulos went for it near post. Piscopo trying to pick his way through. Loose ball picked up by Collie. Just nudged over by O'Neill. Petrumbis. Ivanovic somewhat befuddled by the bounce. Stamatolopoulos. It's a clever ball from Stamatolopoulos. Knew exactly where Clayton Taylor was heading. Petrumbis there to meet him. And he found the angle for the cross. Actually a bit disappointing from Clayton Taylor. Johnny Petrumbis showed him the line, and I've done a bit better with that. Taggart. Kolikovsky. Back by Khalifi. Khalifi's overlapping run gives Perth another good opportunity. It's Kolikovsky inside the box. Nobody at that back post for Perth. They are posing much, much more of a threat.
Yeah, build up there is much more promising. Just not enough Perth shirts in the box to aim for. The build up did look better. Just that final passage, the final third, is not the attacking impetus that no doubt Alen Stajic wants to see from this team.
He's also swapped over his wide players, Ivanovic and Kolikovsky, who's now operating on the left. Now causing the Jets many more problems as a result. Oh, goodness me. Cheap giveaway. Stefan Kolakowski! 2-1! What a turnaround for Perth Glory within 10 minutes of the restart. And Stefan Kolakowski, reborn under Alan Stajic after a miserable campaign last time around, has his third goal of the season, and 2 of them have come against the Jets. But what were they thinking, Newcastle?
Well, it's a poor giveaway in the middle of the field on the Harvey Norman replay. Kolakowski's read that really well. Taken 1-2 touches, afforded himself enough space. Still had plenty of work to do on the strike. Still had Scott to beat. He's gotten half a fingertip to it, but can't take anything away from the thundering finish. Kolakowski, he does celebrate that one.
Well, Clayton Taylor has been so good so far this season for the Jets, but he has to wear the guilt for that one. And Kolakowski pounced, and how? What a finish. And what a different atmosphere now around McDonald Jones Stadium to one that was evident 10 minutes ago.
Absolutely. Clayton Taylor, understandably looking a dejected figure, and he'll want to make amends for that. He has had a really impressive afternoon, and I have to say it was an uncharacteristic giveaway. Poorly measured pass.
Well, we saw Santa Claus doing the rounds of the stadium at half-time. It's the Jets who've been giving away the free gifts. Let's see if they can respond. This Taylor will be certainly eager to. It's not a bad ball, and just not the finish. In fact, it was Moragas on the left and Taylor with the shot.
It's a good run from Moragas as well. The late arrival, the run from Clayton Taylor, really clever. Just can't keep his chest over the ball and steer that one downwards. But you see straight away Moragas getting around his teammate, trying to keep his head up, keep that positive energy going.
Kept it in play, but it's favoured the Jets. Moragas stopped in his tracks by Katrumbis, but he's still there. Amini. That's experience by Daryl Latchman, just playing it off the shins of Taylor. Well, a position that they've not been in too often this season. Only win of the campaign so far, 2-0 at home to the Central Coast Mariners, and the Mariners were the last team they beat on the road 14 months ago. But they've given themselves a bit of a platform now. And is the Stajic magic about to work again at McDonald Jones?
Well, if he has anything to say about it, no doubt it will. It's a period of the game. Newcastle are fairly susceptible, and the purple patch for the Glory have made the most of it.
Was that pun intended?
Absolutely.
That's a fair indication of a turnaround. Ivanovic, Colley, Taggart stepping in front of Natter, but the Jets have come away with the ball. Piscopo, Moragas to his left. Challenge from Colley, just knocked the ball slightly beyond him. Ivanovic on his way. Amini, Kolakowski. Calls for handball there against Natter. Nothing given. Forward by Grozos, but the bounce is done for Clayton Taylor. Ollie Bozanic with that shoulder problem. I'm pretty sure that's that challenge in the first half where it took a while to get up. Looks a little tender around that left shoulder area. The reason why he was dragged at the break, no doubt. Stretched by O'Neill. Glory throw. This is what Perth were asking for some moments ago. It does come off the hand of Natta, but nothing given. Taggart's cross. Oh, and Kolakowski a whisker away from getting on the end of that. And he knows it.
Yeah, great ball into the box, and not often you find the Perth shirt up against a Newcastle like that, the numerical advantage. Well, it was all even. So often Newcastle have had great numbers behind the ball. On that occasion, Perth could have made more of it.
Yellow card has been shown to Noel Arate, the Glory assistant coach, for something said. Into the final half an hour. Taggart wins a throw. We're told had a bit of a blow-up with the fourth official, Tim Danaskos, about that lack of a whistle for the handball. Hence the caution. Here's Colley. Good angle ball in towards Stefan Kolakowski, who's getting in some great positions in the second half.
Yeah, much better from Perth there. Really good numbers getting forward, finding space in between the lines. They hadn't done so in the first half.
Well, Robbie Stanton's seen enough, and he's going to make a change. Thomas Aquilina, who won that first half penalty when the Jets were in a real good rhythm, takes his leave, and Archie Goodwin, the local favourite, is sent on with the task of helping to try and salvage the game. Sushnia has been in bother quite a few times. And the Jets fans a little irritated that he's not been cautioned as yet.
Well, he's run innocently away on that occasion.
Can't do that, Alexander, I'm afraid. Grozos. Jets desperately seeking a second wind. As the shadows start to lengthen at McDonald Jones Stadium. Touched by Piscopo. O'Neill, good football. Stamatolopoulos. Sushnia shut him down. Meany sent it forward, and Perth are off again. It's Taggart has a little look as to where Kolakowski is. Might not need him. Well, he found the angle nicely, but sadly for Perth, not the finish.
He certainly found the angle, lost his balance in the process. Just falling away from the strike, that one always rising. Mark Natter again just does enough to slow things down.
Piscopo's found a bit of room between the lines here for the Jets. Oh, it's too heavy for Stamatolopoulos. Probably Newcastle's best chance of this second half so far.
Yeah, Piscopo's done really well just to float in between lines there. Has the right ball, not the right weight behind it.
Actually, a really good ball by Cameron Cook. Trumbus was onto it, Ivanovic, and Adam Taggart in behind! It's 3-1 for Perth Glory! Unless the offside flag is going to deny him, which it does. VAR will check it, of course. But again, Newcastle were ripped apart.
Well, the pass from Cameron Cook, delightful. The first touch too, just breaking through, and the run.
It's well off.
Yeah, well and truly off. He's checked his shoulder, but the pass has come a moment too late. And what was a really good play from Perth Glory, cut straight through the middle of Newcastle Jets defence, but on this occasion that one won't count.
Well, no team has been caught offside more than Perth Glory this season. Unfortunately, that one could be a costly one. Alan Stajic has made a change, as you can see. Jared Carluccio is on in place of Salim Khalifi. Maybe a little bit more defensively minded to try and protect this 2-1 lead, which we thought just for a second was 3-1.
Say it's been a much improved second half so far from Alan
Hasn't it
Stagic's
just?
side. A real turnaround, and it almost feels as though the game's been played at a higher intensity than what we saw kick-off.
Maybe some strong words exchanged at half-time. They've been a different team. Kolakovsky, it's another handy ball, and Taggart is onto it. Angle was rather acute for him to finish from there. But it's as regular as clockwork at the moment.
That's a really clever ball from Kolakovsky. Timing picked so well. Just a really tricky angle for Taggart to wrap his boot around. But he's looking good.
And that combination between Kolakovsky and Taggart really started to bear fruit. They barely had a sniff in the first half as Newcastle was so dominant. Newcastle have just completely lost their mojo. Tiscopo. Daningham. Brandon O'Neill offering that run. Here he is. Away by Latchman. O'Neill will get another go. And it's a corner off Sushniar. And a yellow card as well for Giordano Colli for the foul in back play, which has left Piscopo writhing in discomfort on the turf. There we go.
Yeah, the late challenge coming in, just taking Piscopo off his feet. He'll receive a bit of treatment. And Colli received a yellow card for his efforts there.
Another yellow card, this time to the boss man himself, Alan Stajic. Well, that's both members of the Glory Brains Trust in the technical zone. Into Sean Evans' notebook.
He's had enough, Sean Evans. Piscopo still yet to get to his feet. Coming off worse for wear from that challenge.
More changes afoot for both teams. We're going to see Daniel Wilmering introduced presently by the Jets. And I'm told David Williams' arrival is imminent as well. Reno Piscopo is going to play no further part. Only just back from that calf tear, of course.
A disappointing end to Piscopo's game. He's been so lively this afternoon, had some really good glimpses, and you can see how heavily he's limping on that boot as we get another look at the late challenge that came in and took out the ankle there from Colli.
Yeah, he certainly got caught there by Colli. I don't think it was intentional or malicious, but certainly painful. So Daniel Wilmering is on. Sixth appearance off the bench. Here's a chance. Oh, they should have scored. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos at the back post. He's unmarked as well. And he's got a fair sliver of the goal to aim at, and he knows that should have been back square.
Yeah, he knows well and truly it's fallen to him. Perhaps a little unexpectedly, took a touch on the way through, but he has scored much harder goals than that one. And that would have been the Christmas gift.
Here's that change for Perth Glory. And Stefan Kolakovsky is the man to be replaced. What a second half he's had, Stefan Kolakovsky. One goal, he gives a little wry smile to the Jet supporters. And David Williams is his replacement. See if he can combine as effectively with Taggart as Kolakowski did. Brandon O'Neill leading all over the top of Giordano Colli.
It almost feels a shame to disrupt that partnership that had really grown into the game between Kolakowski and Taggart. It's really coming through nicely into this second half, and still 20 minutes to play. Nice fresh legs on it was a warm afternoon. It felt as though that partnership was really starting to build.
Free kick by Sushniar. Colli. Good short pass, digged through by Williams. Carluccio was onto it. Glory still on the attack. Amini. No way forward for Sushniar. Good little pirouette by Taylor, who was in position for the return, but it was overhit. And the Glory are back on the attack. Amini. Carluccio. Quarter is a pretty decent outcome for Glory. Into the last 20 minutes in Newcastle. Corner's been worked short. On top of the box here is Jared Carluccio, who sets himself quite nicely, but underneath it.
I don't mind that from Carluccio, just backing himself to have a go there. Certainly feels as though the momentum is with Perth at the moment.
Taylor. Goodwin. All very tight along the near touchline. As it stands, Perth would move off the foot of the ladder. Dump Western United back into 12th spot after their win over Brisbane Roar last night. Could be all change at the bottom. Still a way to go in this game. Good touch by Wilmering. He's quickly back up on his feet for the return ball. That's handy. Maragis, is there some contact there? Sean Evans says no. Well, it did look more in hope than expectation.
Nonetheless, a good build-up from Newcastle. So we have another look. Almost anticipating the contact. I think he's inviting that there. It's gone down. I think that's a right call from Sean Evans. Good refereeing.
Latchman. Pitch now completely covered in shade as the evening draws on. It's fairly warm at kickoff. It's cooled down a bit now, but the heat is on the Jets to try and get back into the game. Daningham. Too deep. Just never really been able to refine that groove that they were in the first half, Robbie Stanton's team.
Yeah, well and truly dominant that first 45 minutes. Newcastle controlling everything, the tempo, managing the game. The second 45 minutes, and you do have to credit Perth Glory, they've come out with a different level of impetus and energy.
And the XG tells a different story, but it's goals on the board that matter. Colli. Amini. It's good football by Perth up until that moment. Now Wilmering galloping forward. Looking for Taylor. Sushniar was there. Good backtracking that behind the big defender. Perth head back west next week, where if they do win here, they'll look to build at home against Macarthur. Taggart again playing on the shoulder of the last defender, but this time Kankar and Natta sorted out between them. Taylor's on the move, and there's a foul in there. Maybe 2 fouls. Lucho and Sushnia had a go at stopping him. There's the first one. There's the second. Sushnia got a bit of the ball as well. As for Newcastle, as we tick over into the last 15 minutes, they go to Adelaide next before welcoming Western United to McDonald Jones. A big chance for them to move into the top 6 today. They're going to spurn that opportunity. Moragas, good turn. He's going to have a go. Lucas Moragas, oh, that wasn't far away. Really close. Cook was scrambling away to his left-hand side.
Clever from Moragas, so comfortable on his left foot, but he's turned, he's swiveled, he's had a really good go on his right, had nice shape to it. He's been lively all afternoon, Lucas Moragas.
Well, they need a bit more of something like that. Natta will get the throw off Taggart. Trent Bahaja perhaps being readied for the Jets. In a late bid to save the game. Meantime, there's a touch of cramp, I think, for Luka Ivanovic. We know he's got pace. Trent Bahaja. Robbie Stanton, Damir Pradanovic, and goalkeeping coach Chris Bowling assessing what changes need to be made. And it looks like we're going to see Daniel Benny on as well for Perth. 17-year-old. Luka Ivanovic is unable to continue. In no particular hurry. Luka Ivanovic.
He's getting the pickle juice. A couple more changes to come. 10-15 minutes of fresh legs, of youthful energy to come on and try and secure this for Perth Glory and, well, for Newcastle. And there's a couple of changes there lining up in the ranks.
Let's inject some youthful energy into our broadcast. Tristan, your sideline for us.
I'll take it. Yeah, Benny and the Jets, it's happening. Yeah, you could feel the optimism lift a little bit when Goody came on for the Jets. It's kind of died down a little bit more now as well. I don't know what's happened. They seem a bit shell-shocked now when they came out in the second half. I was going to say before that the work that the S&C coach has been doing here with the Jets has been unbelievable. When you look at Snowlopoulos and even Archie Gooden as well, I mean, the difference in their frames is huge. Again, there's a lot of optimism here. It's draining a wee bit, but again, as the first game we saw, it was the 92nd minute when we got that equaliser, and I wouldn't put it past them here today.
Thanks, Tristan. So Daniel Benny replacing Luka Ivanovic. Newcastle on the ball, but not for long. Now they win it back. Dane Ingham on the right. Grozos. O'Neill. Now this was Perth in the first half. Now it's Newcastle. Searching for ideas. Kankar. Looking for that run of Clayton Taylor. Going to throw off Beavers. It's going to Seems a fair while ago that he gave away that penalty now. Double change for Perth. And Apostolos Stamatolopoulos got his goal again today. Takes his leave. And Costa Grozos is also going to be replaced with the former Perth player Callum Timmins, introduced for the last 10 minutes or so. Here's Archie Goodwin for Newcastle. He's managed to wriggle clear of two defenders somehow. Taylor trying to do the same thing. Another Jets throw. Kanka. O'Neill. Knew that he had Musty immediately at his back. Ooh, risky from Ryan Scott. They got away with it. David Williams just waiting to pounce. Instead it's O'Neill. He drives it into the channel. Nice control by Clayton Taylor. And it smacks off the chest of Beavers. And behind for a corner.
Oh, it's a really silky touch from Taylor. Makes it look effortless. Well-timed run over the top as well. Just watch him pushing this down in full stride and get the cross away as well. Well defended by Beavers, and it had to be, but Clayton Lewis, he'll be desperate to make amends.
Here's the corner into the near post where Daryl Latchman was situated. Perth anxious to protect this lead at all costs. Timmins with the corner, more flight on it towards the back post. Partly cleared by Katrumbis, helped further away by Sushnyar. Aragis to retrieve, but robbed by Amini. Here's the counter on for Glory. Do they have the ambition to go for a third? Jets go again. Timmins. Taylor's not going to reach that. Robbie Stanton must be wondering where it all went so wrong for his team. They were so dominant in the first half.
Untouchable, really. That first 45 minutes, Perth couldn't get anywhere near them. It's been a much different picture in this second half. As the last 10 minutes ticks away, the question around game management and how Perth Glory can see this one out is going to come to full front.
Aragis can have a go here. Another corner. Well, he's been at least one player that's been willing to have a try, albeit from distance on that occasion. Another set piece, low this time by Timmins. Oh, just right by Bahadur. It took a touch off a Glory defender, so it'll be another corner for the Jets.
So close. Just the run of Bahadur arriving late. Latchman just lost his step.
Just clipped the heels of Adam Taggart, which maybe prevented an equaliser. Timmins again. All flight on this one, aiming for Natter, away by Beavers for Perth. Back in by O'Neill. Beavers there again. And Maragis. And Beavers a third time. And this time they'll get some respite by Sean Evans. Ando and Goldrick on the near side.
For just a moment, Perth can breathe a sigh of relief as Cameron Cook, well, he'll take as long as he can on this kick. Just ticking away at the seconds.
Well, against the Western Sydney Wanderers here, they led 2-0 and couldn't win that game. At half-time here, they were 1-0 up against Glory. It looks like they might lose. It's a bit of a head-scratcher for Robbie Stanton. A variation in performance during a game. That's one he has to resolve. No foul there on Timmins. And they were looking for that run of Williams, but good intervention by Kankar.
He's been solid all afternoon, Kankar. Moments like that, just interjections, and well, for Perth, Amini, he's worked hard, picking up possession in the middle of the field. I think the Glory lacking that in the first half. Just that real dogged mentality, and Musti Amini, he certainly gets stuck in.
Williams waiting for help to arrive in the shape of Daniel Benning. 5 minutes to go. Did mention at the start, this venue is one of Perth's happier hunting grounds on the road. Are they in line for their 13th win at McDonald Jones Stadium? Not if Clayton Taylor has anything to do with it. Somehow managed to find a way through there. Wilmering clips the cross in. Well dealt with by the Glory defence and hooked away to safety by Carluccio. O'Neill. Ingham. In-2 with Taylor. Retrieval by Brandon O'Neill. Taylor. And is there a foul there? Yep. By Sushnia. He's been getting pretty close to a yellow card, Alexander Sushnia, by sheer dint of accumulation.
He's definitely walking a tightrope on that one, and here's Clayton Lewis again with some really silky footwork. As I mentioned earlier, he's so great in tight spaces and just invites the contact, and this is a very threatening position for Newcastle to line up. Definitely within shooting range.
Brandon O'Neill maybe fancies this one, or Daniel Wilmering. He scored the winner late on against MacArthur the last time the Jets won at home, late last season. Not from a free kick though, which this situation is. Which one's it going to be? Wall of three for Cameron Cook guarding that near post. Runners waiting to make their move. Wilmering steps over it. O'Neill only finds Cook. Ball still alive for Kankar. Or is it? Maybe he's given a foul there, Sean Evans.
Interesting one. Lofted ball, really solid touch from
a little push
Cameron Cook
by Kankar.
Yeah, that little push. Enough to settle things once more for the Glory. I was hoping to see a strike direct from that kind of range.
Well, Stefan Kolakovsky has substituted quite some time ago now, but he's still well on top in terms of our Paramount Plus player index, with Brandon O'Neill second. Here's Williams. Glory looking to seal the deal. It has been a long old wait for the team from WA. A 2-1 win against the Central Coast Mariners in October of last year. Last time they won on the road, but they're very close in Newcastle.
The 42 days since their last win also feels like a long time ago for Alan Stagic's side. Should this result stand, perhaps just the 3 points to kick their season back into gear.
Get them off the bottom, but Jets might have something to say about that. That's too far for Daningham. Groans of frustration around McDonald Jones from the home faithful. And it has really been, Grace, the proverbial game of two halves, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, well and truly. It's a different look side in the second 45 minutes, and casting our minds back to what was a dominant performance from Newcastle in the first stanza. Completely different side this second half.
Good touch by Taggart. Benny's away down the right. Williams in position. Good strong hand by Ryan Scott. Keeps Newcastle in the game for a few minutes longer at least. Quickly forward to Clayton Taylor. 90 minutes almost up. Good tackle by Jared Carluccio. Just to retrieve that little bit of pressure on Perth. How many minutes to be added on? The answer is 7. Kankar's a driving run out of defence by Philip Kankar. Maragis on the left. The cross behind both attackers, Bahaja and Goodwin, which is not what was needed for the Jets.
Not the quality on the delivery needed from Maragis. Driving run from Kankar, taking matters into his own hands, saying we need to make something of this. Stoppage time only now remaining.
Taylor. Clayton Taylor. Far too much on that. Goes into row D of that half stand behind the goal, and Alan Stajic can breathe easily once again. He did say this week, Alan Stajic, that it was time for his team to turn their season around. Good to hear that little bit of honesty from a coach as well. Maybe put a bit of pressure on his players, and they've certainly responded in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. A long 7 minutes, though, for Alan Stajic and his side.
Williams for Benny. Quite got the pace to get around Natter. He goes forward quickly for Wilmering, little readjustment, and Maragis is on the move. Beyond him is Bahaja. Cross deflected though by Latchman and seen out safely by Beavers.
Not done much wrong at the back. Newcastle, Mark Natter and Phil Kankar, really solid games, each of them respectively, and Natter again the base of that play going forward for Newcastle.
O'Neill. Taylor. Ingham. They're queuing up in the middle, but final touch off Archie Goodwin is tamely behind. Robbie Stanton quietly seething in the technical zone.
I mentioned before on the Maragis delivery, just behind the players, that too. Ingham not quite hitting the point where that cross needed to be met.
This is going to be a long 3 or 4 minutes for Alan Stajic, after they waited so long for that win on the road. Taggart can't kill it. Resounding thump on the ball as it met the boot of Latchman, who's there again for Perth. Newcastle desperate for an equaliser. Taylor turns nicely out of trouble. Accelerates, finds the gap. Timmins! Off the base of the post. It was that close to 2-2. And that's going to be a foul, a free kick and a card for John Katrumbis for the lunge on Maragis. Well, Newcastle thought the moment had arrived.
Well, it was oh so close. And again, the fleet-footed Clayton Taylor makes a moment of magic. Only the post denying. It was otherwise a good strike from Timmins. He's met it cleanly. They still have another chance here with his free kick.
Confirmation of that booking for John Katrumbis. Nervous moments for Perth Glory. Brandon O'Neill with the set piece. Ryan Scott's come up from the back. It's drifted behind. A wasted free kick. Is that their final opportunity? They will hope not. Scott quickly backpedaling. Cameron Cook's going to get a card for delaying the restart.
Well, if the result stands, it's a card he'll be happy to wear. Still 2 minutes of play remaining. Quite the recovery run there for Ryan Scott. He gambled with his chances.
He's got one clean sheet against the Central Coast Mariners this season, Cameron Cook. In Glory's only victory, and it is 3 points. They are agonisingly close to getting here in Newcastle. Can they repel these final raids from the Jets? The ball boys quick to get the ball back in play. Ingham, Taylor, who's close control again, takes him past defenders seemingly with ease. Ingham. Oh, is there a bit of contact there? Sean Evans has a look and a think and says no penalty. VAR will check it, of course. Was there a little nibble at Dane Ingham here or not? Yeah, probably not enough.
It certainly raised the eyebrows of a few. The contact from David Williams of the body.
Well, VAR says nothing doing. Risky challenge by David Williams. Not enough of a clear and obvious error, perhaps, to overturn it. Foul by Katrumbis, who's just picked up his 4th caution of the season, which puts him on the brink of a suspension. This might be the last chance for the Jets to get something out of the game. And they're angry that they're forced to respot the free kick. Sent long by Scott. Goodwin couldn't win it in the air. Kankar. Maragis in behind, squares it up, surely! There's the equaliser, Trent Bahaja in the 97th minute. Spares Newcastle's blushes, and it's 2-2, and it is heartbreak for Perth Glory. With virtually the last kick of the game, Newcastle conjure up an equaliser through their substitute.
Well, the face of Alan Stajic says it all. It's heartbreak for Perth Glory. What was a spectacular ball over the top on the Harvey Norman replay. The first touch from Maragis was divine, and the finish, well, Bahaja, what a moment for him to get off the mark, and what a moment for the Newcastle Jets.
Well, that's what it meant to the Newcastle bench. The opposite emotions, of course, in the Perth Glory technical zone. Time was almost up. And Trent Bahaja, off the bench for that very purpose, has rescued a point, perhaps, for the Jets. How much longer to be added on? And they will be crestfallen, Perth. That is full time. And they slump to the turf, the Perth Glory players. They cannot believe it. 14 months they'd waited for an away win. They were within 15 seconds of ending that long wait. But on it goes, thanks to Trent Bahaja. Absolute heartache for Alan Stajic and his team. You can understand the frustration. At the end of it all, Newcastle Jets, who were so good in the first half, managed to scramble a point thanks to that late effort from Trent Bahaja. And fittingly, it was Lucas Maragis, who was probably Newcastle Jets' best player on the night, who provided the assist. Before that, Adam Taggart and Stefan Kolakovsky had completely turned this game on its head after Apostolos Stamatolopoulos had put the Jets in front from the spot in the first half. And it all ends in a draw. Still no home win for the Jets, still no away win for Glory. Full time at McDonald Jones. Newcastle Jets 2, Perth Glory 2. Let's get reaction with Tristan.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I'm here on the pitch with Trent Bahaja. Trent, you had a huge impact in the first game, even bigger one in this one.
Yeah, look, that's what we get brought on to do, is make an impact. So, our boys came on, they've done well. So, it's lucky to get the goal in the end.
Do you feel like the game had slipped away from you? I mean, you shell-shocked at the start of the second half, but then I guess the last, whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes, you were completely on top.
Yeah, look, that first half we dominated. We had most of the ball, and could have been